And good morning, everybody. It's time now for Putnam County Today here on 94.3 WREV. With us this morning, Mayor of Greencastle, Sue Murray.
Morning, John.
How's it going?
Well, I'll say well.
Okay. Well, I guess let's talk a little bit about festivities that took place last night.
Last night, the
Splash Park.
Opening of the Bob York Memorial Splash Park. I'll tell you what, I think people have talked about this now for a while, but to actually see it all on the ground, see the water turned on, the features, the joy in kids' faces, it really is a pleasure to see that having come to fruition. And most certainly, the Yorks had a chance to enjoy it on Sunday a little bit. And then we had the major ribbon cutting grand opening. And so we still have work to do on it. The permanent fence isn't in yet, so that still has to be done. And we had a wonderful local artist did the iron work on the gates, and kids love it, and it's bright and cheerful and colorful, and we're going to be using it again tonight for National Night Out.
Right.
But it's a wonderful thing, and most certainly the city, a partnership with the Civic League and the DNR grant, the Parks Department, help make it happen. And again, that's why things work, is that we've got lots of people with energy, and in this case it was the Civic League that really pushed hard to say, let's get this done, and sure enough it does.
And it's nice because sometimes, especially with the economy the way it is now, cities don't have the funding to do projects like this.
Oh my goodness. Without donations that the Civic League was able to garner, and that's really Suzanne Maston and Emily Knuth took the lead on that, but a lot of people donated and organizations to that project. We had in-kind donations. We had a major grant from DNR, and we also had the City Council put in, directed $100,000 towards the effort. So it really was a public-private partnership, and again, that's how we can get things done at a time where there are limited tax dollars.
And that seems like that's the way we're heading now.
Well, we can be as creative as we can. I think the one fear I have is that those grants aren't easy to come by.
Right.
And so we have been very fortunate in terms of the number of grants we've gotten, both from DNR and the state. And so we take that very seriously, and that enjoy these opportunities because they don't continue to necessarily come our way.
Right. Well, speaking of grants, Stellar Grant projects are going on. So I guess kind of bring us up to date on that.
Sure. Well, fortunately, I will tell you with great glee on the part of the property owners, the first round of facades will be complete before the end of this month.
Okay.
We're going to be closing out that grant and starting the second round. So we don't anticipate that construction really taking hold until next year. So there's a bit of a respite when it comes to downtown buildings and construction. The Indiana Street project, that was going to be a pedestrian walkway, it was going to be a one-way street. Hopefully people now that the blacktop is going in can see that it really is going to be a street, and it is going to be a two-way street, and we're still hoping that by the 21st of this month we're going to have it open. The trees will all be planted, the sod will be in, the lights will be up, and that alley that runs between Vine Street and Indiana Street will be complete.
Okay.
So hopefully, again, we're looking for the 21st. We have DePaul students coming back on the 23rd.
Right.
And it really would make it far easier to be able to get in and out of the community and into downtown if that street were open. So that's certainly our goal.
Now, I remember too, the actual completion date of Indiana Street was not till later, right?
It's not. The official.
That's just to kind of allow for any extra things that need done?
Extra things. And actually, when they talk about substantial completion, that means, the road you can be on, most everything is done. There might be a few little things to look at. But all the paperwork has to be completed before a project, according to the Department of Transportation, truly can be finished.
Okay.
So all the bills have to be paid, all the T's crossed and the I's dotted on their paperwork. And so those are the things that take those extra weeks to make sure commodities are right, that we can justify every dollar that the federal highway spent on this project. And so that's what takes a lot of time, even after the road is open.
Well, because I think a lot of people were taken by surprise. They thought it was actually going to take until October to be completed.
Fortunately not.
The guys actually did a really good job. I mean, I don't think anybody realizes how many different organizations had to be involved with moving utilities, and even the fire department had to find different ways in and out.
It's been a challenge.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Vine Street's going to be a challenge also. We're going to turn around next year in January, and we're going to let the Vine Street project again, and that's a road reconstruction project again. And they're going to be hopefully working on the utilities on Vine Street before we actually get to that construction. But when you're putting in major stormwater improvements, that's a lot of infrastructure to get in the ground and to move in the ground. And that's really what takes so long. It's not the taking out of the sidewalks and the road. It's actually beginning to put the undergirdings back in to make the system work.
And of course, we've got other road projects going on around town as well.
We should be winding up on the paving projects. I know that's been frustrating. People think, oh, I can get down this street, and then they get turned around again. But we've worked with Grady Brothers this time. They were the low bidder on the contract, and you know, they've got maybe a few things to tie down, but pretty much our paving is over. We don't have more money for paving. We've had a lot of people say, well, what about my street? What about my street? But you know, quite frankly, there's only so many dollars, and we have lots of streets that we would love to give more attention to. But our Public Works Commissioner prioritizes those. He obviously spends a lot of time traversing them and telling us, you know, these are the priorities, and then we try to match the money with the bids and the priorities and come up with the best list we can that hopefully identifies needs in all 4 of the city wards.
All right. Well, and like I say, everything kind of, we're moving from summer into fall. Anything coming up for the fall with the city?
Well, a couple things. Let me just finish the construction so nobody's surprised. We're going to be starting the parking lots that we've talked about for a while. We have a construction meeting on August the 10th with the contractors, and we should have full release of funds from Indiana Housing and Community Development on the 13th. So last that we spoke, they want to start on what has traditionally been called the Moose Lot first, and then move over to the Indiana, Walnut, Jackson area. So those projects will be going on this fall, and then they should be completed before we get to Thanksgiving. So then we really will close down. Other things that are happening for the fall, most certainly we have National Night Out tonight. So from 5 to 8 at Roban Park, people can come and have some dinner, enjoy the splash park, pool, get school supplies, which is really important, hear from law enforcement and other public safety officials, and also from different social service agencies to make sure people know what's available in their community and to be able to take advantage of that. So that's 5 to 8 tonight. We'll welcome people into Roban Park for that. Should be a nice evening.
Yes.
And aside from that, you know, we've got a couple of ward meetings coming up, the 4th ward meeting and the 1st ward meeting. Those are coming up this late summer into the fall. We also have the farmers market continues till the end of October, so I hope people will remember that from 8 until noon that's open, and they should come because the produce is amazing. The crafts, the jellies, the baked goods are really good, and there's entertainment every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. So encourage people to come down.
All right. Well, Sue, we appreciate you taking time to be with us today.
Pleasure.
I know it's a busy time for you guys, trying to wind everything up.
Best we can.
All right. Don't forget, if you're a nonprofit group or community organization and you'd like some free airtime here on WRAB, you too can be a part of Putnam County Today. Give us a call at 653-9717.